is my plan to dismantle the deep state.
There really is a plan. It is a far bigger plan than just the United States. What I can confirm for you is that the military had wanted to take Obama out, and then they convinced Donald Trump to run, and so they postponed this plan.
We are witnessing the great reawakening. We started a great positive revolution.
Trust the plan. Trust and know there are a large group of people working on that plan, and they have every intention of making that plan come to complete fruition.
We're essentially fighting the entire globalist elite power structure that wants to control the world.
This is the corruption that President Trump was sent to Washington to get rid of, and it's all just starting to come to light.
In one of the first debates, Donald Trump had said in response to Jeb Bush that he had 200 generals behind him. And behind that are the troops of those generals.
This is the final battle. With you at my side, we will demolish the deep state.
What we're really seeing unfold is something that is to give us hope, but to also know that there are people who are fighting the evil on behalf of us, which is really important.
Most important battle in our lives is taking place right now as we speak. For 7 years, you and I have been engaged in an epic struggle to rescue our country. My fellow Americans, for our movement, for our children, and for our beloved country. And I say this, despite all that's happened, the best is yet to come. We're going to complete the mission. We're going to see this battle through to ultimate victory.
I'm not on the white hat or the black hat side. I am on the military side. I do get some information because of my security clearance that I only can repeat once I'm given an okay. We operate in silos, so it's only within my task force that we can share a lot of information.
If you're president again, will you lock people up?
The answer is you have no choice because they're doing it to us.
Guantanamo Bay, which by the way, we are keeping open. And we're going to load it up with some bad dudes, believe me. We're going to load it up.
I've been told that, and it's the Navy that has the greatest credibility from the legal standpoint, in that there is a ship off of Israel, there is a ship in Asia, I think Japan, there is a ship in the Mediterranean where military tribunals are being conducted as we speak. The military is fully aware of the fact that it is going to be difficult to break through to some of the people, and in fact, with the concern to head off a civil war, some of the military tribunals will be to take out the moneyed people who have been funding BLM and every other activist that is going on. There is a very strong effort, and if you can cut the people off who recruit them and support the activists, we have a much better chance of, to use the word peaceful probably isn't the right word, but a better transition with less bumps on the road is the best way I can say that.
Why does Biden have to, let's say, Executive Order 13848, why does he have to keep extending it?
Well, he doesn't have to, but he does. So the question is, how come he's not fighting it or not extending them? Because he's not in charge.
When you said that Biden is not in charge because of the U.S. being a bankrupt corporation, then who is in charge of running our republic?
Well, but you're saying republic, and frankly, the military. Trump put them in charge, and he's our commander-in-chief. That's really what got my GB interview viral, because I was so excited that I could tell them finally that Biden is the legitimate president of a bankrupt corporation. What happened during our Civil War is we borrowed a lot of money from France, and the City of London, the bankers from England, came to our rescue. But the deal was that the US, they would create a corporation between the Vatican, the City of London and the Crown, and the US. The US would be the military, the finance would be the City of London, and the bank would be the Vatican Bank. And we were locked into that for 151 years. That meant the bankers were going to be in control of our lives. Basically, the cabal that you hear reference to. There are 12 families that really control the finances all around the globe. It is something that has been running the world. The cabal, the bankers have really been running things. And for Trump to go against them is, you want to talk about courage? You want to talk about a warrior? You want to talk about someone taking on the people that have been most powerful financially? Technically, we never really got free of the King of England or the Queen of England. Even though the City of London is, in essence, a country unto itself, the Vatican is a country unto itself, and the District of Columbia is not part of the United States. DC was centered off and basically made their own entity with their own constitution. The U.S. Constitution does not apply to DC. They don't have any representatives, and they operate on their own. When Trump was coming over to meet with the Queen, something big was going on, because if we think back, that entire trip that he made around the world, he started in Saudi Arabia, and only the king normally has a sword in the sword dance, but it was given to him. After he left, that particular king was now out. He was arrested with 200 other Saudi Arabian royals, all put in the Ritz-Carlton, because Trump dropped off documentation about the child and human trafficking that was going on. Then he made a trip to Israel, because he had to let them know and start the Abraham Accord thinking going along. I mean, that had been going on in the background. But then he went to the Vatican. And so when Trump came over in 2019 to meet with the Queen, that was Trump speaking in optics to let us know that he had now informed her that his plan was to file bankruptcy and to end the U.S. corporation. It would not be in existence after 2020. I think that once Trump comes back, uh, we will definitely be cutting our ties with some of the established Nazi organizations. The World Economic Forum, that's the Davos crowd. That's the corporate world. That is the cabal. And as Klaus Schwab has said with his Young Leaders program, that he's got people in every government. Hillary Clinton never, or the Clinton campaign never expected Trump to get as many votes as he received. They were already cheating, and the military had stepped in to make sure that that fraud would not go through in 2016. He knew that there would be more fraud in 2018, and he knew it would happen in 2020. Democrats are very good at this. They started a year before the 2020 election saying, oh, if Trump loses, he's never going to leave the White House. Well, he knew he was going to leave the White House. You know, he just let them go on with that. And he did not bring the receipts that the military had, because he knew if he did at that point, one, it would only solidify the Democrats' comment that he had not planned on leaving the White House if he lost. But more importantly, he was concerned that there would be a civil war. And that was something he knew he had to make sure did not happen. Trump believed that he had to let this happen because you couldn't tell people anything.
Right.
You had to let them experience it.
One of the beautiful things of the pause, if there is such a thing as a beautiful thing, one of the important factors of the pause is that we see how bad they've done. So we will be able to do it properly, and it will be much easier. Everybody will agree with us because everybody sees what a bad job has been done during this 2-year period, and it will be a 4-year period. Everybody sees that. It will be much easier for us to do what has to be done.
There's going to be a triggering event, and I think the big triggering event is going to be the Georgia case. If the Los Angeles Times and the other so-called periodicals, if they get the voting information almost in real time, then you know the military has to be getting it. The legitimate ballots have watermarks. The illegitimate ballots did not have watermarks.
I remember hearing that.
The military knows they've got the goods, and those goods are going to be presented in the Georgia lawsuit against him.
Wow.
He's going to have a chance to show the receipts. It's not just the Democrat side, it's the Republican side as well.
When this country is gone, the rest of the world would follow. The rest of the world would follow. That's the importance of this country. I will shatter the deep state and restore government that is controlled by the people and for the people.
Evidently, the Supreme Court separated the federal role of president and separated the commander-in-chief of the military. And because Congress did not respond to several of his executive orders and declaring a national emergency, he turned it over to the military. Now, one thing is really important to know. There are only about 7 people, and then you've got the generals in the military, but there are only 7 people who are not part of the military that really know what's going on. He transferred all communications from every division of the military to Space Force. Space Force is not about going to the moon or Mars or anything like that.
That's right.
It is about the cyber communication because, as he has said, he's a wartime president. We're at war. We're not at a kinetic war. Hopefully, we won't be. But we are in an informational war. And that is what allowed him to file the national emergencies and turn things over to the military. If anyone listening is skeptical, great. Because if you're skeptical, it means your mind is open enough that you're going to go do your own research and you're going to come to your own conclusions, which
That's right.
will probably be very much in sync with a lot of what you've been hearing.
One, get rid of your expectations and the fantasy in your mind of how you think this is going to play out, and pay attention to everything that is happening and just connect the dots. Our expectations is what caused our hopium depressions.
We've got to let go of expectations. I know in the beginning,
That's right.
people were saying, oh, on this date, this is going to happen. Now, I do think when we were originally told around the inauguration that there would be arrests, I think that was very much a false flag. And it's and the truthers that were broadcasting it were unaware of it at that time. Things will happen in God's time. They will not happen in our time. And so we all have a script in our heads of how we see this unfolding, and we have to give that up. It's much better to pay attention to the signs that we're getting.
The American populace is facing an unconventional warfare scenario. This is information warfare.